What's up, new song? Welcome back to the mobile studio. And Joe, check it out. I got some new special effects for you. Yeah. Dude, shout out to my effects team, dude. That is not easy to animate on the paper like that. But, all right. Today's episode. I've always said my favorite sermons of my life have always been movies. And we're going to talk about one of the most important movie sermons I've ever had to deal with. And it's from the movie Castaway. All right. It's kind of crazy. I was just talking to Karen and Steve Rutledge, if you know them, my friends, dude. And we were talking about how actually when I first saw this movie, I didn't really even like it. I remember walking out of the theater just kind of feeling a bit disappointed with the ending. Kind of, I don't know. And then in that moment, I felt a little bit of a nudge in my spirit, almost like God saying, dude, we're going to need to talk about why you didn't like this movie. And I'm kind of like, that's weird, right? Because you would think that not liking a movie is just more of like a matter of opinion, right? But it's almost like God saying, no. The part of you that has that opinion, I want to deal with that. I'm like, what? I've actually had this experience in my marriage, actually, growing, over the years with Jill. Like early on, I would be like, I would think it's just a matter of opinion, right? She would say like something like Cheez-Its are better. And I would think, oh, all those crackers are the same. Better cheddar, whatever. They're all just basically the same thing. And then over the years, I've learned that sometimes Jill's opinion is objective reality. Like, Cheez-Its are better. That's just true. And I've had to recognize that. So sometimes, and I guess in this case with this movie, it was almost like, what about when my opinion's just wrong? And there's some deeper things that God wants to confront and have a conversation about and hold up the mirror. That's what we always talk about with movies. Look in this mirror and see what you look like. So what can be learned here? Well, Castaway is about this guy, Tom Hanks, playing Chuck. And Chuck is working for FedEx. And his whole thing is control. He just wants to control everything. With packages being delivered, it's all about controlling the clock. He's like, tick tock, tick tock. It's got to be on time. And then even early on, you see this crazy control freak nature in him when he's talking to one of his friends, and his friend tells him about his wife's cancer, and Chuck's instant response is, "Yo, I got a guy. I got this doctor. You just call him, and he'll fix it. He'll work it out." And you just see the friend's face like, thanks, Chuck. Thanks, man. So much control, dude. He can even control cancer just with one phone call is how Chuck operates. And I'm sad to say I know a lot of people in church like that, where there's this, I got this one Bible verse. Just read this. I got the answer. Whatever it is, I got the answer. So easy, man. Just to like little platitude answer for whatever you're going through, and we can just fix it. And I thank God. I'm thankful for this movie in the way that stuff has to be dealt with. We need to go deeper than that if we're going to be God's people in the church and really ministering and caring for people. It's got to be better than just control, because what happens? Mr. Control ends up on an island. And this is not a spoiler. This is the movie. Although I will say, if you like special effects earlier, dude, brace yourself for this scene, man. This is very exciting. But then what happens? He ends up on the island, and he tells us he could control nothing. There was nothing on the island that he can control. He even says he couldn't even control how he was going to die. Nothing. There was a complete loss of control. Now I wonder if there's a lot of people out there feeling that way, where you're like, dude, yeah, I feel the loss of control. I can't control this pandemic. Can't control any of the government restrictions around it. I can't control my work and my income. Dude, maybe you got kids at home. You can't control the kids. They're out of control. So what happens when we lose control? Where do we go from there? And a crazy thing happens in this movie. The crucial moment is the tide washes something ashore, and it's just what Chuck needed. But it came from where? Dude, the tide. You can't control the tide? What he's dealing with, when the realization is that his hope needed to come from something bigger than himself, something beyond his control. Because when the tide washes this ashore, suddenly there was a new hope, but it wasn't just a hope from something that he can control. It's like the Psalm says, take me to a rock that's higher than I. Where's a source of hope that's bigger than just me? You know, there's another verse, Romans 8 talks about this. Who hopes for what he already has? Hope that is seen is nothing, dude. Where's your hope in what you already has? It sounds like a weird rhetorical question, because you're right. Who would hope for something that you already have? Man, I hope one day I have a mobile studio. Yo, I already have it. I have that. Why would I hope for that? And yet, in reality, I think church people do that all the time. Our hope is connected to what we're controlling. Our hope is connected to what we already have and protecting it. As long as I have control over that, I'm hopeful. That's not. God, I think, is challenging us with this movie. For me, the movie sermon was essentially God saying, I want your hope to be bigger. I want your hope to be something that can make it through the fire and go beyond just control and making sure you got all the perfect little outcomes. Here I was saying, I don't really like the ending. God's like, yo, there's going to be a lot of endings in this life that you're not going to like. Are you still going to be hopeful? Is your hope going to make it through the fire regardless of outcomes? Yo, that is why Castaway is our movie of the week. I can't wait to have a longer conversation discussing it in havens all over town. And I want to dig into what is this hope and control conversation. And I got to close. I just realized I had told Wilson, the volleyball, that he was going to be more featured in this movie, church. And now I didn't really get to talk about it too much. But so just let me end by saying, Wilson, I'm sorry.